Hey, what's up, my Wranglers? How you doing? Okay, today we're talking about a really strange thing called bilocation. Now, let me explain to you what bilocation is. It's literally when your body is in two places at once. Now, there's some debate that it could be maybe somebody saw a vision of you or a telepathic type thing in their head or whatever. But no, what I'm talking about are hardcore examples of literally a person's body being seen in two places at the same time and confirmation of that. And a lot of times this happens with holy people, Hindu holy people, Catholic holy people, Jewish holy people. I know there's some in the Islamic tradition that kind of in their I wouldn't say magical tradition, but some of their tradition talks about bilocation. And it's not just holy people. There's an example of a French mistress not mistress, schoolmistress. I didn't know the word. A French school marm who could do this, and I'm going to tell you a creepy story about her. But anyway, I'm going to start with some of the famous ones, okay? And then I'm going to move on to some of the to that. I'll tell you some other stranger ones. The first one we need to talk about is Padre Pio. You may have heard of him. Let's get the slideshow going here. Padre Pio. Where's my slideshow? Let me move that sucker down. Okay, hang on. Oh, let's back this. There we go. This is Let me get me smaller. Isn't this wonderful technical stuff? I need a producer. So when I'm rambling on. Okay. Anyway, here's Padre Pio. He's got a bunch of kids around him and all that. He was really well known. Actually got kind of famous in his lifetime. Very kind man. He was also known for his stigmata. And he was very devout Catholic, extremely devout Catholic. Was it uncommon for people to claim to have seen Padre Pio in two places at once? In fact, there's a guy that a man named San Giovanni Rotondo, who was a Catholic convert, who claimed to have seen him and talked with him. But Padre Pio at the time was in the monastery, and he had gotten to the point where he was old and his health was failing, so he'd never left the monastery. But even though he'd never leave this monastery, people would claim to have seen the guy, and talked to the guy and had conversations. He was interrogated by the Vatican and all that, and he basically commented in many of the cases. He said, if it happened, it happened. I don't remember it, but this could. This is all I can tell you. I don't remember this happening, but God's can do a lot of strange things. So this was Padre Pio, and you can look at there's so much stuff about his life. I mean, I could do an entire hour-long podcast on just about any of these guys, and I'm not going to. But I mean, they're just when I started researching this, it was literally the iceberg, the tip of the iceberg, with not just their bilocation abilities, but their lives and their other miracles. The next one is her name is, let me get this name right, Mary of Argenda, Spain, I believe it is. Mary of Argenda, she had bilocated several times. What they talked about, and her early life was pretty interesting. She went into the religion, into being a nun when she was pretty young. She wore a blue cloak because of her order, and they called her the Blue Lady. And there's a case of some missionaries showing up in South America, not South America, south part of the United States, near in parts of Arizona, and the Indians, the Native Americans there, the Native First Nations peoples, there was a sect of them there that were asking, as soon as the missionaries showed up, started asking to be baptized. And he said, "How did you even know about it? Why did you?" He said, "Well, the Blue Lady came to us, and told us all about it, and we went part of this." At the time the Blue Lady came to them, she had never ever left, Europe, and but it appeared 2,000 miles across the sea. That in and of itself is quite a feat, and pretty amazing things. But this happened; it was documented, so I reckon these people got baptized as they requested. Here's a picture of her today. This is 400 years later. her body is supposedly incorruptible. Now, look at, you're asking me, I'm a medical illustrator by trade. I'm not going to, try to piss off God and get him mad at me or anything like that. But the incorruptible body there, to me, looks like a waxwork. Or maybe that's what incorruptible bodies look like. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying when I saw it, I was like, okay, this. I don't. I've seen a lot of dead bodies. I've seen a lot of bodies, and being a medical illustrator, and it just kind of dinged me a little bit wrong. Like, okay, wait a minute. But this is her. This is her in her coffin, being incorruptible, not decaying or anything for 400 years. Quite amazing. If the tale is true, if the claim is true, okay. And here on the Neon Wrangler, we both talk about. No, we both talk about. We talk about the scientific and the paranormal explanation for this. With Padre Pio, all I can tell you is he was investigated by the Vatican many times. At first, they were very skeptical. They came to believe him, that he was able to do this kind of thing. So he was under quite a bit of scrutiny. But who knows, what some people are capable of. We saw the movie The Prestige. We saw, movies like Fight Club that kind of deal with bilocation. I think it was The Prestige where there was a guy and his twin brother. Now, he got a twin brother that nobody knows about. It's not that hard to bilocate. Okay. This here is St. Martin de Porres, I believe that's the word. And he bilocated to China, to Peru, to several other places, and he would minister to the natives there, to the native people that were in that area. Not only the Chinese, but the native Peruvians and all that. And so this is a picture of him, and you can see he's an African American man, but he was a devout Catholic, and he could bilocate, and supposedly, and would show up all over the world, spreading the gospel or converting people to Catholicism or whatever. I don't know the process. I'm not Catholic. Okay. I'm anyway. I'm not Catholic. Now this here is a non-Catholic person. This man's name is the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov. He's a Jewish mystic and a Jewish holy man. And there are many cases of people seeing the Baal Shem Tov appear here and there. And you could look into his life and see stories of his miracles and all that kind of thing for as long as you wanted. Pretty incredible stuff. I mean, this is him. This is the man. And he's a Jewish fella. But yeah, we're back to Padre Pio. I never got a picture of the French lady that ran the school, but I'll tell you a couple stories about her. And I've lost her name, and I'm sorry, I'll have to look it up. Maybe I'll put it in the description if I can find her name. She was running a school in France, and there's a story where she's writing on the chalkboard, her lesson for the girls, and an exact duplicate of her walks in and starts mimicking her actions. Like this duplicate is writing on the chalkboard, but not actually making contact with the chalkboard, but it's imitating her perfectly. The young girls have a conniption fit and start screaming. The school mistress tries to calm them down, tries to get them to relax, tries to get them to say, no, that wasn't, you didn't see that kind of thing. They finally got over it, and then there's another case where she was helping a young girl go to the bathroom, and get herself squared away in the bathroom. And the school mistress was working on getting her blouse and her bra and all that. I believe they had bras then. Getting it all put back together, and then she realized something strange. Something didn't quite feel right. She looked around, and there was two of the school mistresses there dressing her. And of course, she lost her shit. Okay, I mean, she freaked out. You got two of these people. Now you say, how do you know if someone's bilocating? Well, you don't really until maybe you hear the stories afterward. But there are some clues that have been consistent. They say the person usually looks the same, but they might be a slightly paler in complexion, or like a faded pallor, and they might not be able to do quite as much as a regular person does. It seems like they have a short power curve till while they're bilocating or whatever you'd call it. But these are the stories of bilocation, and I want to encourage you guys to look into it. I looked into it and I got a lot of information. When I just started digging into it, there's so many. Now, let me tell you some of the other ones here that were, excuse me, okay. In ancient Greece, it said that Pythagoras was capable of bilocating, according to, I don't even know how to say this, Porphy, writing several centuries after Pythagoras. A unanimous report that one and the same day he was president at Metapontium in Italy and Tauromesium in Sicily, each place conversing with friends, though the places are separated by many miles, both sea and land, demanding many days' journey. Now that's Pythagoras that bilocated there, the math guy. Yeah, I know you all have heard of the Pythagorean theorem. This is the fellow that invented it. Hindu and Buddhism. You have the concept of bilocation has been linked with shamanism, theosophy, Islam, especially Sufism, Jewish mysticism, Hindu and Buddhism. It's also one of the, I don't know the word exactly, probably I'm not a Hindu, Siddhis of Hinduism and Buddhism. Several prominent Hindu gurus, including a man named Neem Karoli Baba and Sri Yukiswar and Larry Manahasa, have been reported to have this ability. Okay, now I went and those are the Hindus. Now Christianity, we covered a couple of them, but there's a huge lady of them, a list of them. In Christianity, it talks about Our Lady of the Pillar, the Virgin. I saw the Virgin Mary. Celestial. Our Lady of the Pillar was an appearance of the Virgin Mary. Saint Drogo, Anthony of Peruda, Francis of Francis Xavier. Yeah, go on. I'll read a list of names. It's in here. And then witchcraft. In some cases, witchcraft. You can prove it. Aleister Crowley was claimed. They said he could bilocate, but we see what it says here. Aleister Crowley, it was claimed, could bilocate, but he claimed, Aleister said he didn't know when it was happening to him, and he wasn't conscious of it at the time. So there's the skepticism basically boils down to there's no real scientific evidence, because to make something, to get scientific proof, it has to be a repeatable experiment, a repeatable occurrence, and we don't know how to make it repeat. Well, you said, it just repeated right there. Well, you have to be able to document it. You have to be able to observe it, repeat it, and go on. Look up your scientific methods. So anyway, guys, this is bilocation. And wouldn't that be awesome, man? If I could bilocate, I would sit in my chair and go to the bathroom at the same time. Or, hell, you'd wanted something, you drive down to the store, get your sandwich, and bring it back or whatever, without having to move. It's the lazy man's way of getting around. So see ya. I'm going to work on that, guys, and see if I can't end up bilocating. Anyway, guys, hey, thanks for the roundup, and we'll see you at the next roundup. Now, you guys be safe and ride on and round them up. Yeehaw. Talk to you later.